Welcome back to Sunrise. Since Monday, November the 5th, 2019, Nigerian university students have been forced to stay at home after Academic Staff Union of Universities declared an indefinite nationwide strike. According to ASUU, the strike action is due to the federal government's inability to fulfill the agreement signed with the union in 2009. ASUU President Professor Biodun Ogunyemi asked the federal government to demonstrate serious commitment to implementing the spirit and letters of the 2009 agreement, as well as the resulting 2013 MOU and 2017 Memorandum of Understanding. All of this pointing to one thing. One of the major things that ASUU has been asking for is effective funding of education, especially at the tertiary level of our institutions, and so they downed their tools. And after that, the non-academic staff also, I think, joining, the Senior Staff Association also joining. So the question is, what's the effect of all of this on the educational sector, on the students themselves, and even on the lecturers who also have their children in these schools? Mm-hmm. To help us understand all of this, we have Dele Ashiru, who is the president of ASUU in UNILAG. Thank you for joining us. It's chairman, not chairman, ASUU in UNILAG. We also have beside him, to Dennis Okoro, an educationist. Thank you for joining us. Also here is Professor Abiola Awoshika, also an educationist. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's start with you, the man in the eye of the storm. ASUU. We just had Labour, Secretary
Organized
Labour tell us why they are still standing their grounds and they are threatening on a nationwide strike. But your strike is on already across the country, even though some schools pulled out. But why are we still here? Is it that the negotiations are not having any headway?
Fruit. Well, I think the way to start is to say that that there are pockets of strikes here and there. Labour, ASUU, ASUU, COESU, even people who work in the National Assembly, you know, push all the files for the millions and all that. They were recently on strike. It's symptomatic of a society in decay. And it's a manifestation of how badly this society is being governed. As you have said earlier, the reason for this strike is to force government to honor the agreement it freely entered into in 2009, upon which there was a memorandum of understanding in 2012, another memorandum of understanding in 2013, and then because both government and ASUU says, look, we're fed up of memorandum of understanding, in 2017, a memorandum of action was agreed upon. And here we are, even that the spirit and the letters of those memorandum of action 1 year after are yet to be implemented. And what are the issues, you know, on the memorandum of action? The first is government's promise to inject into public universities in Nigeria a total of 1.3 trillion to be spread in 5 tranches. Only in 2013 did President Goodluck Jonathan released the first tranche, the first 200 billion. Between 2013 and today, no dime had been released.
So 4 tranches outstanding.
4 tranches outstanding. Apart from that is also the issue of shortfalls in salaries. You know, curiously, in the last 3 years, you find personnel budgets in universities shrinking. And consequently, in some universities, workers are not paid at all. In places where they are paid half or quarter of their salary. In fact, there's an acronym in some universities which they call AFSA. AFSA means half salary. And then we engage government to say, look, people can be working and you won't pay them. So pay them the shortfall. As we speak, government had set up a committee they called PICA. PICA is Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit. And PICA went around these universities to verify. So you now have acronyms in universities now like you are PICA verified, you are PICA unverified. Now, for those that are PICA verified, Unilag, for example, is being owed 708 million PICA verified shortfall in emolument. Now, that is also outstanding. Also is the question of the end academic allowances of lecturers since 2012. And as I reeled out the name is earned academic allowances, people that have worked for it. And between 2013 and today, they are yet to be paid. Also on that memorandum of action is the question of NUPEMCO. NUPEMCO is the National Universities Pension Management Company, a company we desired, to establish in order to cater for our pensions so that when we retire, we won't be subjected to bringing your first letter of appointment or coming to Abuja on weekly basis to do one form of verification, some dying in the process, some pension money, they can't even trace it, as we witnessed with police, military, and some others. So academics are saying that let us have, a pension management company that will manage our pension. In spite of ₦1 billion that we have paid to government in the last about 6 or 7 years, up till now, the license is yet to be released. So if you take this in totality, you find a clear case of a government that is insensitive, to the plight of the people, particularly to the education sector, which is about the only sector upon which the development of any society can revolve. No society can rise above its level of education.
Now, what a lot of people are saying now is that, is there no other means through which ASUU can force government's hand apart from going on strike? Because the strike action, the ripple effect of the strike action is, at the end of the day, undesirable.
Well, you see, the way to react to that is to say that, there's nothing humanly possible that we have not done. Before we declared this strike, we held several meetings with the Minister of Education. To be factual, not less than 5 different meetings. Not only that, the day the renegotiation broke down between our union and the government team, led by Dr. Wale Babalaki, our union marched straight to the office of the Minister of Education and handed him a letter to say, look, we are at this crossroad again. We need your intervention so that the looming strike can be averted. I recall that at our National Executive Council meeting in Calabar early last year, we debated this issue. Another letter was caused, to be written to the minister sometime around March. In June, the same thing. There was no any response until in November, when we declared the strike. The following day, the Minister of Education was on air appealing to us to call off the strike, which he had the opportunity to prevent in the first instance.
Even up to the day before.
Even up to the day before the declaration. But the very day we were on air to say, look, we're going on a total, comprehensive and indefinite strike, the minister was on air to say, we're appealing to ASUU, government is looking at this and all that. So we have been challenged severally to say, look, can't you look for other options? Okay. And we have also asked people who know of other options that can compel an insensitive government, to accede to your demand, to please put it on the table and let us together look at it.
Let's explore it.
All right. Mr. Okoro, in all of this, he's narrated a lengthy process they've gone through to this point where they decided to go on strike. But in your thinking, how is this helping our education?
Well, when we look at issues sectionally. We don't seem to get the import of what is happening. Education is holistic, starting from the elementary to the highest points. Education system, whether higher or lower, does not need to persuade government to do what they're supposed to do. In the sense that ASUU, any alternatives to make sure government agrees to what you've agreed to, no. But there's a systemic issue in terms of how we plan in this country. All this began. There was nothing like this kind of situation we find ourselves prior to 1965. All this began during the oil boom years. For example, between 1975-80 plan period, the government, military government, thought they had too much money and took on a national universal primary education scheme, which was a very worthy idea. Well, they didn't wait to have the plan mature. It was truncated halfway and insisted it must be in 1976. Fine. The thing kicked off. Barely a year of starting such a magnitude of educational expansion. They didn't allow even the UPE to gain momentum. Somebody from the university system, a group of people said, well, we might as well give free university education, tuition free, federal universities. And they make these statements and plans without thinking of a continuous recurring cost in the years to come.
Hold your thoughts there. We'll take a moment. We'll come back, pick it up from that point. Please don't go away.